Friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be diving into another interesting but challenging machine on the VulnHub, which is Tornado. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video thumbs up. This really helps the channel grow. So now let's start our hacking way through this fantastic machine. I've already imported the machine into the VirtualBox. Then we can head over to Kali Linux to begin with. First of all, we need to discover the IP address of the target. The utility I'd like to use, as always, would be netdiscover. So as you can see over here, the IP address of the target could be recognized as 212. We can make note of this information to our notebook. So what shall we do next? We need to perform port and surface scanning with a map. To save time of this video, I've already completed before. So now we can get out its result. As you can see over here, I took the options like scene scan, the default script scan, the virtual scan, and then -p- to do the full range port scan. The last option for all is ON to output the result into this file. Then we can retrieve results whenever. Although, as you can notice here, the IP address of the target machine has been changed since I re-imported the target machine into the VirtualBox. So this time, different IP address has been assigned by the internal DHCP server of VirtualBox. Anyway, this will not affect our process of penetration. From the Nmap scanning results, we can tell that the target has two open ports. The first one is 22, which is running SSH service, and also the version information, including its exact version number. However, I don't think we cannot find any workable vulnerability for this particular version. The second one is 80, which is running HTTP service, and also the version information can be retrieved as well. From the title, we can tell that the target machine is running default Apache 2 page. Okay, so what are we going to do next? We need to emulate this web application both manually and automatically. So let's fire up the browser to perform manual emulation first. Okay, and we can put the IP address of the target into the address bar of the browser. Press enter, and we got back this Apache 2 default page. Now we can scroll down. So nothing here. Now we can check its source code. Scroll down. Sometimes we can find something sensitive from the source code, but it's not this case. Next, we can try to access the robots file. Press enter, and not found. Next, we can launch Nicto to perform automatic emulation with this web application. So as you are seeing here, the Nicto can give us many results from different aspects, such as the version information, request header, and allowed HTTP methods, but nothing interesting here. Next, I'd like to launch Gobuster. Let me grab the historic command to save time of typing out the command, right? So now we can press enter. Almost immediately, Gobuster discovered some directories like manual JavaScript, but in most cases, we cannot find anything valuable from this directory, which often contains some sorts of static files. Okay, and this will take a bit of while. I'm going to pause the recording. All right, as you can see over here, the new directory has been found by Gobuster, and I'd like to interrupt this Gobuster because nothing new will be found by Gobuster. Okay, so now we can copy this directory name and to make notes. Okay, so now maybe we can indent. So the port 22, SSH surface, port 80, HTTP Apache 2. Okay, so now I think this there would be no problem to have a look at this discovered directory. Paste over here, press enter. So now the browser is loading this new application, possibly. And as you can see at the bottom, the browser is performing a TOS handshake to this site. Okay, so here on the top, you can see some links, but not hyperlinks, just some kinds of anchors. Okay, click. Contact. Although this site is very beautiful, but from the perspective of penetration, nothing valuable we can find. And next we can check its source code, and we can scroll down. So nothing else. Next, maybe we need to make a deeper directory enumeration for this or against this directory. Okay, let me grab the previous command and put the BlueSky, press enter, and almost immediately Gobuster find some pages like contact, but this would be redirected to login page. In other words, such a page require authentication, and also from the status 302. We know this very well as well. Okay, login, sign up, and also the port dashboard. So maybe we can copy these two pages. Paste over here. I can remove this status description. So next we can log in. We can access this login page. Login PHP. Here we can provide the email and password. Of course, up to this point, we do not have any kind of such information. Okay, and also we need to check its source code. So nothing else. Okay, let's go back. So now I think we need to, access the sign up to register the new user to see how this application is behaving or is functioning. Okay, sign up PHP, and we can put anything like test.com and password something like 1 2 3 4 5. Sign up. So registered successfully. Click OK. Now I think we can log in with this created new user. So test.com and 1 2 3 4 5. Login. It's successful. Welcome. And this is dashboard of this application. About. So hi. Also, we need to check its source code. So nothing else. And how about portfolio. So here it's saying local file inclusion vulnerability is patched or has been fixed, but still do not forget to test for it again. Contact, but the comment feature has been turned off because of security purpose. Okay, so nothing else we can find. Maybe this is the difficulty of this machine. We need to pass. Okay, we need to face. So I think this message is telling us something. So maybe we can, we can perform the fuzzing. Okay, and also I think we can check its cookie. The cookie is here. Now we can copy and paste it over here. And the key limb is this one, because I'm going to make a fuzzing to see whether there is any kind of new parameter limb for file inclusion. Okay, so now I'd like to copy and fuzz and paste over here. Okay, and we can use the fuzz and password or the list directory. Oh, Gobuster directory. Press enter. Oh, sorry. I think we need to pass the cookie. And fuzz. So how to specify the cookie? So this should be the cookie. So repeat option. Cookie. I think we can use the B option. So how to do? Let me and cookie. Copy the cookie value and press enter. And I think we need to pass we need to set the filter 245. Let's press enter. Okay, now wfuzz starts its enumeration. Also, I need to know whether my configuration with this command is correct. So maybe we can set the proxy. Can I set proxy? Yes. P type format. Okay. So now I'd like to, I need to know whether I have already configured this command properly. So how to do? We can use the P option and IP, of course, my local host, and the Burp suite and HTTP. Okay, HTTP. Now we can launch Burp suite. Next, start. So the proxy intercept is off. Now we can press enter. Oh, should it be all in uppercase character? No problem. Hit enter. Now I think we can get the the request. I need to know whether the cookie, yes, cookie is set properly. But although I already showed you the how to specify the cookie and also the proxy to make sure this command can be configured properly. But I like to tell you, we cannot, this will not work, okay? To save time, I will not wait. Let's go back. Actually, I'd like to check its source code here. Let's scroll down. Here we find this information. We can copy and paste over here. So the first impression from this comment, I think this must be hint left by the author. Normally we'll use this file to test local file inclusion vulnerability. So after I get this absolute path of this file, the first impression is to replace this file by this one. Okay, so we can change this to home, and we can copy. But actually this do not work either. Okay, so I'd like to interrupt this command. So how to do next? To access specific file, we can take two ways. The first way is through the local file inclusion. We give the file name of path of one specific file to one parameter. For example, here this case the parameter name is fast. Okay, but another is we can use the path traversal technique. Let me show you what I mean. We can, so for example, we can use this way. Home, we can copy from here. Maybe we need to add more. Okay, let's press enter. So very weird thing happened. Just now we use many double dots and a slash, but this URL will be automatically reset to this one. So here, as you know, in the Linux home, we can use this special character to specify this one. This one means the home directory. So now maybe we can use this and press enter. But this doesn't work either. So how about remove this slash? Press enter. A very interesting thing happened. We got this list email, and just now in the login page, we know that we should provide the email. We can copy and we can use the Vim editor email list and paste over here. Okay, so now we can write, and for the for demonstration purpose, I'd like to move this line to the top. Okay, we can use dd, and we can use p. Okay, now we can write and quit. So now I think we can make or conduct brute forcing against this the post form. Okay, let me go back. So which one? Log out. This one. And we can use different techniques such as Burp suite, such as Hydra. For example, we can use Hydra, and we can use uppercase L and email. I like to autocomplete this command, and we can, the change IP address of the target. We need to specify the target and also the protocol or service. So this case is post form rather than get. Okay, and so I think also the name is without extension. So now, and then the first section is the login page. You can get this information from the from the inspector tool of browser. For example, we can put anything, test.com, blah 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 blah, anything, login, and we can get this request, right? And now here we can get the login page and also the request payload. You can copy and then put some kind of placeholder. Okay, when Hydra iterate over these two word lists, and then the two placeholders would be replaced by each word in these two files correspondingly, okay, and respectively, okay. And also when we submit the incorrect credentials, we will get back such message. We just use keyword of the error message. Okay, so this can differentiate between correct response with from the bad response. Okay, bad response means when we submit incorrect credentials, we will get the bad response. Okay, now we can press enter. Okay, very quick to retrieve the password for the for this email or this user name. Okay, so next, before we go ahead, I'd like to use Python to to write our own code to conduct such brute forcing. I'm going to use multi-threading. Also, I'd like to use ThreadPool, so this will not flood the target machine. Otherwise, the target machine or the application will be dead. Okay, so now I'd like to open up the PyCharm editor, and we can right click on this folder what we are working on, new Python file, and we can call it like my form brute. Okay, maybe we can use the lowercase, and we can use underscore to join them. My post brute. Okay, press enter, and of course we can create this code from scratch, but I'm going to take easier way, although I've already demonstrated this technique a lot of times. I'd like to go back to the browser and copy this value as Q command, and then we can go to this website to convert Q command to Python. Okay, and we can copy to clipboard and paste over here. Okay, so I think this will be much faster than manually creating this script. Sorry, I have something. All right, I'm back. And next, I'm going to modify this code because I want our own program to be multi-threads. Okay, and we need to import a few modules. So we can from concurrent futures thread from import ThreadPool. Although this future module contains another process pool, but I often like a ThreadPool in comparison to process pool. And also, I'd like to import as completed function. This function will capture the output or the result of every thread. Okay, and then we can have some conditional. For example, we can exit. For example, we can exit from the three threads, something like that. Okay, so now I'd like to import more modules. We can import threading module. This module, the main purpose of importing this module is to use its event function or event feature. So when for a specific username, when any specific thread finds or match the email and password, this will not initiate another thread. Okay, you will see what I mean when we get there. Also, I'd like to import a Q module. This module can allow us to share variables across different threads. So I think cookies are not required. So we can remove or delete cookies. Okay. And also I'd like to import OPT pass, import time module. I'd like to introduce some kinds of delay. Otherwise, the application will be having problem. Okay, so I think that's all modules we need to import. And I'm going to take OP method or object-oriented method, program method. Okay, because this program is going to be a bit complicated. So my post cracker, and we can have init method or constructor. Okay, but for now we just use a pass statement. Next, we can handle the parameters or input of the user. Okay, this is my way to handle users options or input. Pass. Next, we can define the login, but we need to give two parameters: username or email. Okay, password. For now, I use a pass. Next, we can define the major or run method of this class or object of this class. Next, we can have statement. If statement equals main, and then we can create or initialize the new instance of this class. So cracker my post cracker, and we can call its run or major method. Okay, that's all. And maybe we can add one more line break to make PyCharm happy. And I think we can move headers dictionary to login method. Okay, because this method needs to use the header to to submit request to the application. Okay, and also we can remove, not remove, move, and here. Okay. Next, I'm going to write code for this get parameters method, so we can initialize the parser opt pass, and we can give the usage, the target URL, and port number. So I think port number is not necessary because the URL will contain the password, right? Sorry, not password, will contain the port number. And next would be username word list and password word list. Okay, sysarchive, this is a list, and index of 0 is the program name. Okay, now we can add the option. The first option is target, so target, and destination, temporarily valuable name. So we can also use target. Type is string. And also we can specify the help message. Specify target URL. Okay. Similarly, at second option, username word list. And the destination is username word list. Type is string. Help, specify username word list. Okay, and we can copy this line because password word list option would be similar. We can copy. And now we can change it to password. We can copy, replace username. Okay, is it done? Now pass options, and we can call its method. Now, of course, I think we need to import OS module. We need to check whether the word list exists or not. So if options target is none, or options username word list is none, or options password word list is none, and then we can print out the is usage and exit from the program, but we didn't import the sys module. Oh, yeah, it's here. Great. So now, if not OS pass exists, options username or the list, or not pass exists, options password or the list, and then we can print something like either or the list is not available, and then we can exit from the program. Otherwise, we can return target, username or the list, password or the list as a tuple. Okay. Next, we come to the constructor method. We can define attribute of our object, self target. We can use unpacking way, unpack the tuple, self username or the list, self password or the list, self get parameters. Okay, and also we can initialize the queue. Again, this can share the variables across different threads, right? I use this a lot. And also I'd like to initialize the stop event. So we can threading event. Okay, so that's all. Next, come to the login method. So here should be username, and this should be password. Okay. So here we can use the attribute of the object. Okay. Next, we can check response content or text. It doesn't matter, or not, or text. If when we submit incorrect password, we can check the length of the response. So response maybe we can go here. So the length of response, not this one. It doesn't matter. I think later we can print out the response. For example, here we can print length response text, and so for now, maybe we can use. We can use the. I think it's okay. We can create the test file, and we can copy from this website and paste over here. And of course, this credential will not work. So then we can print out is length response text. Now we can run Python 3 test. Press enter. So we can use this to differentiate proper or correct username and password of and the incorrect credentials. Okay, so now let's go back here. I think this line is not necessary, and then we can of course we can self q put. We can put the username and password into the q variable. And also, of course, I think before we do anything, we need to, if self stop event is set or not set, then we can do the following. We can indent all of these lines. Okay. So next, and also we can self stopped event set, or not target, stop event set. And so we can print out the message for found valid username and password. We can use curly brace. So username, password. Okay, that's all. So I think that's all for this login method. So now comes to the major method. I'd like to remove one. Line break. So now we can, I think we can use futures, the list. We can set this variable to store threads. Put workers threads to this list, and then we can use ThreadPool as you can use any name for the ThreadPool executor, and then we can open the username word list with read-only mode. Okay, and for line 1 in read lines method, so the username or email, it doesn't matter, strip space. Next we can open self password word list with read-only mode. Before, because I'm going to use locq word list, and locq word list is very huge, and when use the read lines method to retrieve line by line from this file, normally we will get an error. And before I use the while true in combination with try and except to handle exception. But in this video, I've already found another way. Maybe the better way. We can use of course, we just specify the encoding, and the encoding error would be gone. Okay, so Latin 1 for line 2. Read the lines, so we can use the same way as the username word list. So the password, line 2, strip. Okay, if you want, we can print out some message like try to log in with username, password. Okay. Now, if self stop event is set, then we can break this inner for loop, okay? Otherwise, we can futures, append, and executor submit the task to the thread, okay? So self login, and we need to pass, or we need to give 2 arguments and password, okay? Unexpected types, any self-login username, long possible types. So why? Oh, sorry, they should be square. Oh, I think it's correct. Append, so the futures, executor. So what's wrong? The futures executor. So what's the error? Username any, possible types. Okay, I think my problem is I didn't initialize this class. So this would be max. Also, we can set the max workers. Also, this can be option, okay? So the user can specify the maximum workers or maximum threads. For example, I can use the 3, and now the error is gone, okay? So if this stop event is not set, and then we can append or submit this task to this pool, okay? And when for the outer loop, for each iteration, I mean this loop, for the outer loop, when for specific username, this process, the inner loop is done, we need to clear this stop event. Clear, okay? Now we can check if self queue is empty, then we can print something like failed to crack. Otherwise, we can retrieve or get data from this queue while not self queue empty, and then the username password self, because when we save our data to this queue is a tuple, okay? Yeah, it's tuple. So now we can unpack this tuple, get. Next, we can print out, for example, found valid username and password. And we can use format string. Curly braces, username and password. Okay, so I think that's all. And we need to remove these extra line breaks. So now we can save. Okay. Also, I think it would be better to introduce the delay between each request. So I think we can, for example, we can maybe here I can time sleep. Okay, so now we can save. Now we can run our program. Press enter. So we got error option post. So maybe there is some kind of errors in our parameters handling methods. So the L, W, oh, here, this should be W. So this, conflict with this one, okay? So now we can run our program one more time, and we are given its usage. We can specify the URL of the tag. We can copy, and oh, what's wrong? Terrible. And we can copy from here, copy value, and paste over here. So next, we can specify the username dictionary and word list. Lock queue. Let's press enter. Okay, almost immediately we found the password. Okay, so I'd like to interrupt this program because I'd like to come out this line, because I just use this line to know whether our program is working properly. Okay, come out this line. Now we can run our program again. Almost immediately, this program, our own program, has already found a valid username and password. So let's run until this program can find all valid usernames and password. But of course, this will take very long time. After all, this lock word list contains thousands of words. Okay, so to save the time, I'd like to interrupt this program. I've already captured the valid username and password earlier, so we can copy and paste over here. So now I think we can maybe, yes, intercept. We can log in to the application with these credentials. So we can copy the email, and so the password is hello. Login. However, although we have already got access to the dashboard as the user admin, but the functions are exactly the same as the, our created user, right? So a bit weird, but hold on. This is a bit weird. If you log in with this user, second user, you will get something different. Okay, we can copy, and paste over here to log in. Here this page is the same as other user, but about, and this one, and also this one, this is totally different. We can submit comment like hello, and the information will be displayed on the left. And even, for example, if we can run command, we can check whether we can run command, but the command is not executed. However, if you try to use the ping and with the count like 5, you can notice the status of the browser. Comment, as you can see, it's waiting for something. Okay, after about 5 seconds, and then we can get this one. Although we get the same string as we submitted, but this command I think is running on the server. So what can we do next? We need to try to get reverse shell from the target machine. And I tried, when I did the machine, the first time I tried many commands. And And I think this command with Python can work very well. I'd like to copy and paste over here. For example, the attacking, we can copy and replace this and the port number 555. You can use any available port number on your own machine. We can copy. And before we try to run the command, we need to set up a web server. Set up the listener on the Kali Linux, waiting for collection from the target. We can paste over here. Comment. Fantastic. We have already successfully got the collection from the target machine. And we can spawn interactive shell by Python, import pty spawn. Okay. And also I'd like to define environment variable term. Okay. So next we need to gather information on the target to make lateral movement or privilege escalation. So catch me, catch me, permission denied. So how about the second one? Tornado. Nothing else. So I think now I'd like to run sudo, although in most cases the www-data will not have the privilege of sudo. Okay, press enter. Oh, sorry. Sudo with option of normal L. Sorry about that. Sorry. So actually this user can run the following commands on this machine. So I think we can make a lateral movement to this user with this command npm. You know, this is binary for the managing a Node.js framework. We can use this one to install packages, right? But how to do? I'd like to go to the website of this one. And you know, when I did the machine the first time, I tried to follow all three commands, but this will not work. You will get error of some kinds of permission issues. But instead, I'd like to do this manually. For example, we can copy. Let me show you what I mean. And we can navigate to temp directory. And we can save it to, we can use the same file name, but not temporary directory. Okay, and we can cut out this file package, JSON. You know, it's here. So next, we can run sudo with the username catch me and user bin npm, and this one we do not need to use this one. We just this one just when you install something and will execute this command or in advance, or this is called pre-install. Okay, let me show you. So of course, we need to use the option install, or I for short, install package, or temp. You know, will install the packages in this directory. So now we can press enter. Now you run ID. As you can see, we are successful. We have already become this user. Okay, so now I think we can use Python to spawn interactive shell pty spawn bash. Okay, clear. Next, let's go to its home directory, and we can get the user flag without problem. And above this, we can find this encryption Python script. In Python script, okay, scroll up. So I think here we can go through this code very quickly. Define the character set, just all lowercase characters, and shift to be 0, and encrypt it. So this should be I think this should be encrypted data. Okay. Now we'll capture the user's input. So the user input one word key, for example, like B, and if the length is larger or longer than 1, and then we'll print out this error or bad message. And this function will get in Unicode of the character. Okay, so now, for example, I think we can launch the Python 3 interactive Python 3 alt, like A. You get my point. So this function will return the Unicode of character. Okay, let's go back, and then we'll replace. Here there are 26 lowercase characters, but this will be, will delete. For example, the user input the L, and this L would be removed, and this would be put in the front. Okay, and then input the enter string to encrypt here, and have a loop. I'm not going to walk through all of lines here. This is actually the Kaisa cipher. I've already included this cipher in my over the wire playlist, and in that playlist I can show you. I will show you how to. Yeah, I've been showing you how to use Python to make decryption and encryption with this kind of cipher. Okay. Anyway, now we can use online service to decode. Okay, I have already opened up this website, and I've already copied the encrypted string, and then click decrypt, and you can get all possible original plain text. However, if you look at these different lines, this one got our most attention because root, okay, inside this string. So now we can try to use this password to switch to root user. But authentication failure. So what's wrong? Actually here, we need to replace U and X I think this part should be the password, right? So now we can try. Of course, this is very difficult to discover. Okay, IDK root password. It does work, and then we can get the final flag without any difficulty. So I think that's pretty much it. I'd like to see you next. Bye. Have a good day, please.